Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGV, and today is tribal time. Saproling tribal. The fungus. The little ones that could. That's what we're going to be dancing with today. And curious to see how they stack up to whatever comes in our way. And right away, can't keep this hand. They just didn't service up a playable. It happens, but man, is it obnoxious. Shake it off, shake it off. Hit the fungus, make it poop petals. Just work your stress ball. It's a lot like what this feels like to me. Bunch of stress ball shenanigans as you wait for that opponent after you've already taken a mulligan. Well, if our opponent is playing creatures, these will be good. If not, they will be bad. If we draw lands from here, our hand is okay. If we're up against control, though, we're probably just dead. I mean, they're all cards we could use. Let's hope our opponent is a creature mage. I've faced a lot of creatures today. A lava runner. Alright. I think we'll just say go. And get ready to infect. The wizards, you say. Alright, let's try the ambush tactics. Opponent seems stumped by this. Perplexed, perhaps, by the sudden fungal infection. So turn that into an 0-1, and now you can block it to kill it. The opponent might have a removal spell that they could use here to keep the lava runner from dying. If so, they should use it before we block. I'm a little confused. But it looks like that's the play. Shiv and Fire, okay. No damage. I think we'll just go in for another round. Getting this thing dead and having a Saproling afterwards. Plus we got a Shiv and Fire out of our opponent. It's all good stuff. Let's drop a Slimefoot. And get in for one. Let the beatings commence. This is meant to be a much more explosive deck, but in weird situations, and I'm starting to think that the situation is weird, grinding isn't so tough. So we have an option here. We could use 4 mana to make another 1/1, or we could play the Sporecrown Thallid. I feel like the Sporecrown Thallid is doomed. Plus it's not as efficient on mana. So my plan is to use the Slimefoot. Then we can play Sporecrown before we attack with, say, a whole bunch of tokens. But let's see if our opponent finds a way to kill the Slimefoot. It's legendary, and drawing another one, we do run the full 4. So if something's going to die, let's start with this legendary Slimefoot and work from there. Interesting. Our opponent's going to use Blink of an Eye to kill 1 token. This looks very good for us. Definitely a sign of weakness. And a land off the top will let me drop the Dryad, which I believe is good. Another Shiv and Fire would have been tragic, and yet, without it present, everything just going according to plan, getting that value. You have to believe the opponent's got some other control-ish play. So far they've been doing poor tempo, I would say. Oh my. We're already conjecture. Not what I expected at all from a wizard deck. Perhaps this is a much more controlling deck than it looks like, with possibly Lava Runner enabling all the control spells. I haven't seen anything quite like that, but there you go. Well, let's hit our opponent as hard as we can, shall we? Fight Club style. And that is lethal. Opponent didn't see the Thallid incoming, I suppose. So let's get in and look at our tribal deck. If you wonder why I'm keeping it particularly calm voice today, Mrs. CGB is taking a nap. So we have 4 fungal infections. It's about all the interacting we plan to do aside from Ifnir Deadlands. Just keep ourselves from falling behind early. Then we do migrations. Song of Freyalise, totally awesome way to vomit your hand onto the battlefield. All the Thallids, Driven to Despair, which is an absolute game wrecker if you can pull it off. A very, very tough one. It's like Driven is when the snake bites you, and Despair is when your arm is falling off. The Sapherds, Slimefoot the Stowaway is a pretty clutch piece of the deck, and then there's a Thallid Omnivore, so there is kind of a way to drain the opponent out if you get a big enough board, even through a Turbo Fog, which is exactly why I opt for the Omnivore in there. I also thought about Fungal Plots, but I liked having another body. And then the Swarms and the Tendershoot Dryads, of course. So just make a big old board go crazy. 1 Arch of Orazca, because who knows, sometimes you get that City's Blessing, then board wipe comes and you have to rebuild. But the Oasis is kind of a tough one. Wasn't really sure if I'd want it, but sometimes you're a little short of that lethal, and this gets you there, even if your creatures aren't of the often unblockable variety. All right, let's get back into a few more games. Go wide, ignore Chain Warblers. That's the name of the game. And we'll see what awaits for us here. We're on the draw, making cards like Fungal Infection much better. Saproling Migration. This hand's very slow. And yet, you want bodies, we've got a lot of them. Green but no elves, lucky us. Llanowar Elves not in this deck, a little off tribe, but still a very, very powerful card. Wouldn't blame somebody for running it. You might want to replace Song of Freyalise with it. I just found the Song to be much more powerful, and this deck to have a lot more mana sinks than the typical quick green deck. Ranging Raptors, Dinosaurs. Alright, let's start this party. See if we're in for the good old Savage Stomp Ranging Raptors opening. That is oh so devastating. Oh, yep. For sure we are. No blocks. Don't need to let our opponent fetch more lands with their enraged triggers off the Ranging Raptors. And then it's Ranging Raptors times 2. I guess we can pass for the Swarm. Yep. What we need right now are bodies. Lots of them. We could have also played Song into Sapherd, which is interesting, but I think we've got enough time for this. The Regisaur Alpha would have definitely changed that, but that's not what happened. Okay, we'll play you. We don't want to play our Tendershoot into open mana. We have 6 mana total, so we will just crank out the whole gang. And then next turn will probably be like Tendershoot, Tendershoot. See what you got. It's going to be curious to see if the opponent still thinks they're the beat down here. Okay. They're not acting like they have many more big dinosaurs, that's for sure. And now they are slowing down. So 11 total mana. 10 and 11. You have to guess that there's some removal spell. The way that they burn that Savage Stomp, they wouldn't be completely naked at this point. Which makes playing a Tendershoot a little bit of a waste. But how about both Tendershoots? Is that a waste? At the same time, playing an Omnivore would just be really tough to deal with. It's so huge. So yeah, I think we'll go like this. Opponent with plenty of land and a Serpapod. That's not that threatening. On end step here, let's fire off an Infection. Let's make another Saproling so that we have it all for the Song of Freyalise. I'm also going to put a stop for when this trigger goes off, because it may be that we draw an instant speed, and we did. Okay, so like that's why I put the stop there, so I can play this Fungal Infection now and make a 1/1, and then the song goes off, which pumps it. Now this has Trample, Indestructible, and Vigilance. That's important to keep in mind here. And let's send the team. They all do, but the opponent can't chump the Omnivore, and the Omnivore can eat the things that are blocked. Okay, so this is one creature that we're likely to eat with the Omnivore. And Scoops, I guess our opponent sees that there's no way around it. No easy way out. Throw me another booster for my efforts. Let's see if we can find another victim to infect. A lost pharaoh. A victim indeed. We could run out of mana very easily here. I'm gonna keep it. We're gonna need to draw land. Needs it, my precious. Song, huh? Alright. That is unfortunate. Alright. We'll do the things the very, very hard way. We're leaving the mana up because I may have to infect my own Thallid to make another creature. I'd prefer to infect my opponent's thing, but they're not giving me that option. But that now gives us 4 mana, which lets us play the Swarm, which I think is what we want to do. Rushing out the Omnivore. Well, there is something to be said for playing the Omnivore, because we can play the Swarm on our next... before the song goes off. But I think it's just better to have the Swarm out and do the 10 damage or so. More than that, actually. Red mana. What will it be? Raging Regisaur. More dinosaurs, huh? Alright. And that goes off. Land comes down. I guess we'll deploy the Slimefoot, which says whenever a Saproling goes to the graveyard, and this is a fungus, but it's indestructible, so everybody into the pool. Down to 8. A big old swarm of dorks. Can we pull it off with just 3 lands? The Enragers are here, but I don't know if that's going to be enough rage. I don't think there's enough here. Pretty sure the opponent's just dead to this attack. Block, 12, yeah. Dead. Yeah, count them up. Do the maths. Need these. You just got this and this against this, and this, and this, and this. Yep, that's the maths. Feel it, feel it. Omniscience. Keep it coming. Dalisturbo. A battle we shall have. Alright. Well, we've got Driven to Despair for the first time today, so I think that's an auto keep. Let's see if our opponent's in with their hand. If they're down with it, get away. Get them scorpions off my whatever this is, plateau? What are we looking at? Some elevated platform thing. Is it my deck? Is this the deck I play on? What makes no sense is if the opponent is watching, the horns go the other direction. Yeah, shoot. Why were you on that side twice in a row? That's bizarre. Oh, the ways that we fill time hunting dragonflies and such. All right, let's go. Let's battle. A swamp. A ghoul. Not something worth infecting in this spot. Unusual. All right. Playing out the Sporecrown Thallid would probably be a waste. Probably. I would much rather try to infect ambush. Oh, that's a good target. That's a good target. I'll let the opponent attack me first. Infect. Another land that turns on the swarm. Let's get this down and get to work. I don't want to try to block with it. Board presence is everything. The opponent is likely to blow us up. Throwing this down means they probably spend their turn taking care of it in some way. It might make it awkward for them to add to their board, which is good. Lets us continue to build ours. We just have to take 2 damage, which it happens. We'll live. Alright, your move. We'll see. The opponent has some kind of... They need to basically get 2 blockers. Well, there's 1. But not 2. Okay, let's go for this. Oh, okay, but we don't really have the mana yet. Let's do this while we can. Let's go Driven. And let's flash it back for Despair, which means that all our creatures will have Menace, so they can't be blocked here. And with them all getting in, we're going to draw 4 cards, and our opponent's going to discard their hand. Oh, juicy. Now act as if you have a choice. There you go. Yep. A murder and 2 land. Not the greatest hand. And then the Baron comes off the top. Ouch. But, so the opponent's gonna try to get in. See if they can kill me. It's about to get really tough. If we play the Tendershoot. What happens? We have 2 blockers. Our opponent draws a removal spell. Then 1 blocker. 3, 6. We can put our opponent on 1, but is that the safe play? So here's what I believe to be the safe play. Attack with 3. If we keep 2 back, then our opponent can't rip a removal spell and win the game. And we'll see how much that costs us. Well, I guess we'll never know. I guess we'll never know. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. A good amount of quick beats and stops with the Saproling deck. Just to look it over really quick. It is pretty budget friendly. You've got to get your Dryads. Those are rare, but they're a fun card, and they're not rotating. So if you're worried about that, that can be a thing. Aside from that, though, you're looking at just a bunch of uncommons. Driven to Despair is a rare, but you get 1 automatically. So it is a very budget-friendly deck and good for a lot of good times. It's not good in a Chain Whirler meta, but you don't play against Chain Whirler very much because, as you can see, the deck's rated as a pretty low power level. So in free play, at least, you get matched against a lot of interesting brews. I've yet to be matched against a Goblin Chain Whirler deck with this deck. All right, so I hope you'll give it a try. Thanks for watching the video. It's been another good one, and I'll be back with more Tribal Time, more Jank Tank, more Second Tier, and of course more Spike's Corner in the near future. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.